Right, process must have Sri Vrindavana. Yeah, hearing from the Sri Radha and Keli Kaumudi of Srila Rupa Gosvami part. And there, all the astonishing, wonderful qualities of the plane of Srimati Radha is being manifested practically. He has described in a more theoretical way in Bhatta Rasamrita Sindhu. In fact, Srila Rupa Goswami part, he quotes from his own Radha and Keli Kaumudi in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4 times. And in Sri Ujjwali Nilamani, he quotes from his own Radha and Keli Kaumudi as the illustration 15 times. What is being expressed is the glories of Jayati Murati Shiradika Anuraga, the glories of Radhika's Anuraga. So, yesterday, Maharaja was explaining the verse Anuraga Sosambheti Adasha Prakashita Yamadasha Bhavitya Vidiyate. So, our Acharya's commentaries on this are very profound. And actually, you know that Srila Rupa Goswami part from his childhood, he was educated in Nadirnet by Sri Vidya Vichaspati, who was the brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Mahaprabhu was also educated also in the system in his pastime. In Nadirnet, there is a style which is, the pride is in the precision of the explanation and the building up of the layers of the explanation. So if a person wants to understand something about what Rupa Goswami has explained in regard to Mahabharata in Ujjwali Nilamani, it's not possible unless a person has very thoroughly, step by step, gone through each of the layers Rupa Goswami is presenting, right from the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, for example, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami describes about the appearance of Bhav. He said, Avir Bhuya Manobrito Prajanti Tatsurupatam Swayam Prakasharupati Vasamana Prakashavat Vastuta Swayam Aswada Surupaiva Ratishtaso Krishnadi Karmakaswadya Etutvam Pratipadyate. Here, in the very early part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami is laying the ground to help us understand precisely what is Bhav, Bhakti, pure Bhakti, and how it has 2 aspects, Sambhit and Hladini, and exactly what is the vritti, the function of Sambhit. What is Sambhit doing here? And what is Hladini doing here as well? And if you see his definition of prem, sneha, man, like each one, all the way through up to Mahabhav, you always see that each layer, each stage of love has at least 2 symptoms. And you can recognize that one of the symptoms is the function of Sambhit, and one of the symptoms is the function of Hladini vritti.
Wow.
If if you very much pay attention, you'll see. And so, see, Krishna here is saying that Avibhuya Manobrito Vrajanti Tat Surupatam. What is a manobriti? Manobriti means chitta vritti. Our psychological body is made of chitta and everything else, ahankar, manas, buddhi. These are all the gradual condensation, the condensement of the chitta. So that chitta is interwoven with the sutra, with the threads of prana. Eishonur atma chaitasa veditavya yasmin prana panchada samvivesha pranais chitam sarvam otam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavyata eish atma. In the Upanishads it is said, pranais chitam sarvam otam. The entire chitta is otam. That means interwoven with the threads of prana. And these movements of the prana, these are called chitta vritti. And the result of this chitta vritti produces all of our psychological states. So, avirbhuya mano britto, there is an avirbhav. Avirbhav is just like when the Supreme Lord descends to this world. It's an avirbhav in his avatar form. So, in the same way, the practicing devotee is doing sadhana and gradually nityasiddhasya bhavasya prakatyam vritti satyata. What happens? The vritti of Samvit and Ladini enters into his manobriti, into the movement of his prana, and becomes one with that. Vrajanti tat swarupatam. In other words, usually our prana is moving by rajas, because rajas has priya shakti. So our thoughts and feelings are coming by influence of rajas. But when pure bhakti appears, it appears in the chitta vritti and it hijacks, it takes over the functions of the mind. And then at that time, Swayam Prakasha Rupapi Vasamana Prakasyavat. Usually when we look at an object, then the chitta vrittis, they modify and they create an image of that object in our chitta. We don't look at the world directly, we see the reflection of it in our chitta, like this. But now, Samvit and Ladini have come and entered. Now, it is self-manifest. Samvit vritti is self-manifesting the Rupa of Krishna. So Rupa Goswami says, that's Vastuta Swayam Aswada. The devotee is not relishing Krishna. He's relishing Rati. Because it is Swayam Aswada. In other words, it is the Samvit vritti of Rati which is manifested in his consciousness. Vasamana Prakashyavat. It seems like his mind is doing it, but no, it is the Bhav, the Bhakti Shakti which is manifesting the form of Krishna in his mind, and the devotee is relishing that. And this is why, depending on how much prema a devotee has, to that degree he relishes Krishna more. Okay? So, the Rupa Goswami is saying that Vastuta Swayam that actually this Rati is self-relish. The absolute truth is one. That is Advaya Gyan Paratattva. So how is it possible to have a subject and object in that realm of non-duality? Why? Because it is the Samvit Shakti which makes the experience of I am a subject and Krishna is the object. Presents the beauty, the form, the pastimes of Krishna and the sense of I, sense of self. And then the Ladini Shakti is the Aswadya. That is relished. But what is relishment? Ruchi, taste. And what is taste? In the Tikas on Bhakti Rasamrita it says Ruchi, Abhilas. In other words, the more Abhilas, the more desire a person has, the more something is relishable. So, the Samvit Shakti is making the subject-object, Krishna and me. And the Ladini Shakti is making the Abhilas. And so, as the two are expanding, then the chitta is that is called sukha. Sukha means sukha. The ka in the akash, the chitta is expanding sukha. So there's always increasing joy, increasing happiness by the increase of Samvit and Adini. This is from the very beginning stage of Bhav. So these functions continue as they go through all the stages. For example, in Anurag, Sadanubhuta Apiyaha Kurvan Nava Navam Priyam Rago Bhavan Nava Navas Anuraga Itiyate. That which makes Krishna, you are tasting Krishna as new and new every moment, and the love itself is new and new at every moment. So the increasing of the beauty of Krishna is made by Sambit, and the relishing is made by Nadini. So always in the Paribhasha, his actions are Sambit and Nadini are there. Now, when it goes up to the Mahabhav, then something wonderful happens. Something wonderful happens. The first stage of Mahabhav is called Rudra Bhav. Rudra. What does Rudra mean? Rudra means to go onto another level. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has described two types of yogis. That is the yoga rukshu, one who wants to go onto a higher level, and yoga aruda, one who has gone to the higher level. So in the lower level, there's still some identification with the conventional personality. But when one is yoga aruda, now he became above that. He's like a shakshi, a witness of his conventional personality. So in the same way, Rudra Mahabhav means that the analogous, conventional personality of Radharani is there, but now she becomes like Shakshi of her own personality. She goes up to another level and seeing her experience of herself and Krishna also. So then Radhika will say, Na so Ramana, na hama Ramani. I am not beloved and he is not loved. Sri Krishna himself has described the Rudra Bhav of the gopis. Tanna vidanmai anusanga bhatta diya smatmamam atastateyam yata samado munyobditaye nadya pravishta ivanama rupe. Rupa Goswami is using this verse. It's from 11th canto when Krishna is describing the Rudra Bhav of gopis to Buddha. And it's in regard to one of the anubhavs of Rudra Bhav, which is called Mohadya Bhave Pyatmadi Saravam Vismaratam Sada. That means even when that gopi or Radhika is not fainting, she's not fainting, but still she forgets everything, including herself. Atmadi Sarvam Vismaratam Sada. She forgets everything, including herself. So this is one of the symptoms. And when Krishna was explaining that, he said, "Hey Buddha, these gopis of Vrindavana, they are so deeply attached to me. They forget themselves. They forget about their happiness in this life and everything in the future. How are they? They're exactly like the munis, the yogis going into a state of samadhi. So that is Rudra Bhav when the Anurag is there, and then Anurag manifests again on another level and becomes the witness of the Anurag on the conventional level, like this. Therefore, it is said that Anuraga Samvedya Dasha Prabhu, that Anurag becomes the object of its own experience. But remember, in Anurag, there's subject and object. And then in the Rudra, there's also subject and object. Here, the subject becomes Radhika, who has forgotten her conventional self, and the object is her own experience of Radha and Krishna. So it is like this. And then Adi Rudra, the word Adi means having an object. So Adi Rudra means that Bhav which has Rudra Bhav as its object. So just as Rudra Bhav is Anurag, having Anurag as its object, Adi Rudra Bhav is now Rudra Bhav rising again to another level, having Rudra Bhav as its object. This is how our acharyas have explained. But the speciality of this is something quite amazing. Rupa Goswami, to clear this point, he's saying that Varamrita Sarupa Sri Swam Sarupam Mano Nayet. He said that this Rudra Bhav is Varamrita Sarupa. Just as among all tasty things in this world, Amrita is most relishable. So in the same way, this Rudra Bhav is the most relishable. You may remember some days ago, weeks ago, we were discussing Asam Swas Parasambandha Niyama Ninayohiya, that ras is relished when there is no Swa Para Tatasta. When this Swa Para Tatasta is given up. So even within the Krishna Lila, when the Rudra Bhav comes, then Radhika forgets Swa Para Tatasta. even. Naso Ramana na Hamaramani. And therefore, her own anurag becomes supremely relishable. It's a very astonishing thing. Therefore, Varamrita Surupasri, Swam Surupan Manonayat. It means here that when this Rudabhav comes, then the Mano, that is the mind of Radhika and Brajagopis, becomes completely one with the Surup of Mahabhav. So Swaswarupa Manonayat. Vishnacharya Thakur in his Tika makes a very wonderful point. And he's saying that we have discussed before, Avibhuya Manovrito, that when Bhav comes in the mind, then it becomes one with the movement of Prana, but not with all the movements. Even in the stages of Prem, Sneha, Pranaya, Rag, there is the movement of Sambhita and Ladini, but some of the movements, because the spiritual bodies are made of Sandhini, understand? Spiritual bodies are made of Sandhini, and Sambhita and Ladini is moving in there. So some aspect of the mind is of Sandhini, and some aspect of the mind is of Sambhita and Ladini. But Swam Sarupam Manonayat, only in Rudabhav does the entirety of the chitta, the entirety of the mind of the devotee, become completely one with the Surup of Bhav. So Vishwanath Thakur in his commentary, he said, for the queens of Dwarka, their mind does not become completely one. Even in the stage of praying, it does not become one with the state of praying. It does not become one with the state of sneha or anurag, anything. But for the Braj Gopis in the stage of the Mahabhav, Rudabhav, then the internal, the antakaran becomes completely one. Swam Surupa Manonayat, with the function of Mahabhav. And this is why the next symptom after Swasambheda Dasha is Prakashita. What does Prakashita mean? The general meaning is that there is Udipta Sattvika Bhav. All 8 Sattvic Bhavs come at the same time. But Srila Vishwanath Thakur explains that the internal reason is this, that when the antakaran of Braj Gopis has become completely one, every movement of Pran in their chitta has become totally one with Mahabhav, it overflows. Pran overflows because the senses are also manifestation of Pran. It overflows into their senses, and all their Indriya also become Swam Sarupa Manonayat, Swam Sarupa Indriyanayat also. Indriyani. All the senses also become one with the function of Mahabhav. So the body is essentially senses. Yeah? It's a manifestation of the senses. Now Krishna is eager to taste brain. Krishna wants to taste brain. Krishna is not the bogi, he's brainy. Krishna is brainy, he's not bogi, he's not anything, he wants to taste brain. So for the queens of Dwarka, sometimes when they want to meet with Krishna, at that time, Yashendriyam bimahitam kuakana sheikahu. By their glances, by their smiles, actually they cannot control Krishna. Why? Because their bodies are not Mahabhav Swarup. They're not even Anurag Swarup. Even. So they cannot control Krishna. So their Samanjasa Rati has, sometimes their desire to meet with Krishna is called Vaya Sandhi Uchita Sambhog Icha. In the Tika of Vishwanath Thakur. Vaya Sandhi Uchita Sambhog Icha. Because they've come to the marriageable age, it's appropriate for them that they want to unite with Krishna because they're his wives and they should have progeny. They're Prajumna and whatever, like this. So, because of this, their anubhavs, their movements of the eyebrows, their smiles, it's not coming from their rati, so it doesn't control Krishna. But in Samartha Rati, what to speak of their anubhavs coming from their Mahabhav, rather their whole Manonayat has become one with Mahabhav, their Pran becomes one with Mahabhav, and their entire bodies become one with Mahabhav. So when Sri Krishna wants the Sambhog Mai Lila, the direct union with gopis, he's actually directly tasting their brain because their bodies have become Mahabhav Swarup. And this is the meaning of the Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavi Tabiya Eva Nijarupataya Kalavi. Pratibhavita. If there's Pratibhavita, that means one thing is absorbed. Internal, there have to be 2 things. So the body is Sandhini, but it becomes Pratibhavita. completely one with the Swarupa of Mahabhav, and therefore he said, Mahabhav Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani Sarva Guna Kani Krishna Kanta Shiramani. If there is, in Ayurvedic medicine, if there is some amla powder, you can make this amla powder stronger. Why? By soaking it in amla juice. And if you soak the amla powder in amla juice, this is called swabhavana. That it's soaked in another formula of itself and it becomes stronger. And then when it dries, again you soak it in the amla juice and you do it again and again. That is called bahu swabhavana in the Ayurvedic medicine. And when that is done many times, and now the amla powder has come to its highest potency, that is called, now it is said to be bhavita. So Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Bhavita, by the function of Ananda and Chin, Samvita and Ladini, the Mahabhav, the gopis are pratibhavita. They have become bhavita. That is, that prema has come to the maximum potency. And therefore, Kanta Bhave Nijanga Diya Koina Sivan. All the amorous pastimes of the Nikunj are actually only the expressions of pure Mahabhav. Krishna is very eager to taste that Mahabhav, and he is the Samartharati, he is completely controlled by that Mahabhav. But Yasyendriyam Nimaktam Kulkam Nashekaru, when the queens of Dwarka smile, raise their eyebrows, and stand in an alluring way, they cannot attract him. So Srila Vishwanath Thakur has explained it in this way and given the insight into the deep meaning of Srila Rupa Goswami's verse. What means Anuraga Sosonde Dasha, and then what is the meaning of Prakashita? Because all the vrittis of the mind have overflowed into the body, and now the body has become Prakashita, illuminated by Mahabhav, and that is manifested outwardly as all the 8 sattvic parts. So they become Shobha, Dipti, Kanti, very, very effulgent. And Krishna himself, he cannot experience this unless he's in the association of the gopis. And when he comes in the association of gopis, then Krishna's mood comes up to Mahabhav. Krishna becomes Prakashita and he becomes shining. And then, only then can Krishna, who is a Nilamani, like a sapphire, he becomes only then Ujjwala Nilamani. Yeah. When he is Lord Prema.
Vrindavana Bihari Lal ki, Shri Radha Madan Mohan Dev Ji Jai, Shri Keli Kaumudi Granth ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Shri Govind Jai Jai Gopal Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Govinda Jai Vrindavana Bihari Lal ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Puran Purushottamaya Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavaischa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanischa Ajayalamut Bhujau Kankavanatam Sankirtanai Kapitarau Kamlayatapchau Vishwambarau Vijvarau Yugadharma Palau Bande Jagatpriyakarau Karavatarau Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamdirai Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krapa Sindhubhyascha Patanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. You were just listening the discourse of Sri Prema Prayojan Prabhu, and in nutshell, in very few time, he has described so many aspects of bhakti and ras. I will not explain them, but he has very profound. Profoundly, he has described how bhakti is relished and the rule bhav, adhurul bhav, how the bhakti is hladni. Yes, I forget. To all Vaishnavas, respected. Gaur Premanande Hari. Bhakti is a nutshell. I am only underlining the points. Bhakti is not a instinct. That means it is not a part of our intellect. Other emotions, those are the part of our intellect, and those are a part of a prakriti or maya. But bhakti is not a mic thing. Lagni saransh samvet samvit saransh bhakti. Bhakti ki paribhasha di gayi. The definition of bhakti is given. Hladni sar. Hladni sar is Radharani Magna Chamava. Tasya ansha. It's a very little ansh. And that ansh is always accompanied with sambit. Sambit means gyan. And gyan is also used, but the saransh is there. So, as Sri Prema Prayojan Prabhu was describing, that one part of the definition is related to Lagni ansh, and the other part is related to Sambit ansh. And Sri Vishnu Chakravarti, Sri Rupa Gosvami and Jiva Goswami in Durgam Sangam, he described Hladni saransh samvet sambit saransh bhakti. So Hladni sar is Radharani. Radharani is Prem's the ansh of a part of a drop or a seeker of a drop of Shri Radharani is Hladni ansh. That is bhakti. And that will come in the heart of a person. And that is also with sambit, always accompanied with sambit. Sambit means if a person is having joy, but he is neither, he can experience it, but if he is not experience it, so in sambit, if the sambit is there, then whatever he has experienced, he will express it. Otherwise, he will not express. So there two things should be there. There should be Anand and the knowledge of Anand. Both things should be there. Not only Anand, but knowledge of Anand. And while knowledge of Anand is there, then it is also expressed. It will also manifest in any way. So Hladni saransh samaved. That means it is interwoven. It is accompanied with that. Sambit. Sambit means Gyan. And Gyan is also used. It's a saransh, a little portion of it, a little drop of it. That is bhakti. And actually Bhakti Swarupa is Sri Radha. So among millions and billions of men, sometimes Sri Radharani places that bhakti through Sri Gurudev in the heart of a person. So those have bhakti, they are very, very much rare. And Avirbhuvi, so bhakti is incarnated. That is not a natural vritti. Every person does not have bhakti. He may have some shraddha, some faith, anything. That is some for material. The transcendental bhakti is only coming by the kindness of Sri Radha. So, Avirbhuvi Manovrittam, Sri Bhakti, that relishment, that is Alhadni as well as accompanied with Sambit. And Sri Radharani is fully relishing it. So, a little part of that by Sri Gurudev, it is installed in the plant field of a person, of a man, by the ritual of initiation, diksha. And Avirbhuvi Manovrittam, it comes in the Manovritti. Manovritti, what is Manovritti? Man has this quality that it can take so many forms. As in swapna, in sleeping, in dream, our man becomes the building. Our man becomes the coat. Our man becomes the glass or the vessel, and other thing, everything he becomes. So the man has this quality that he can take any form, and that taking form, that quality is called vritti, manovritti. So Avirbhuvi Manovrittam, Sri Radharani, the Prem, a seeker of Sri Radhika, that is accompanied with Sambit Shakti also. Alhadni Shakti and Sambit Shakti, both are in a little form, is installed, is woven in our heart. It is cultivated in our heart. Sambit means Gyan, by which we are relishing and we are expressing. To know as well as express. And we can, by which we describe and had the discrimination. That is all is in Sambit Shakti. Sambit means Gyan, knowledge. अनुभव भी करना, उसको प्रकट करना, दूसरी चीज के साथ में कंपैरिजन करना, तुलना करना. ये तीनों चीज. Comparison is there, relishing, knowing is there, and expressing is there. These three things are Sambit. So Avirbhuvi, that was installed, and while installed, that seed is lying in our heart. And Avirbhuvi, that means while we listen Shri Krishna Katha, while we chant Shri Harinam Sankirtan, while we see Shri Vrindavana Dham, Raj and Shrimad Mohan, then that seed is Avirbhuvi. now it is manifested. So that is the thing. So bhakti is always dhvani. Neither it is born, neither it is imagined, neither it is other thing. So utpatti bad, anumiti bad, no, nothing. It is always suggested. So bhakti is by the side kripa of Shri Gurudev and Shri Radharani is installed, is cultivated in our heart, but it is still lying without any action. Dormant. And while we will see Shri Krishna Katha, Vibhav, Anubhav, Sanchari Bhav, then it will be Avirbhav. So it will manifest. So that is said in Abhigyan Shakuntal. Kalidas has said that Ramyani Viksha Madhanaish Nishamya Shabdan Paryutsuko Bhavati Yat Sukhipo Vijantu Tachet Sasmar Punun Mavod Upam Bhavastharan Jannantar Sauhradani. Sometimes it becomes that we are very much happy, we have no problem. Even then, seeing something, we became full of grief. We became very much disturbed, and we do not know why it is. So, the Dushyant of Abhigyan Shakuntal says that I do not know that why I am feeling today very much nervous. So that is the main thing. That the bhav or sai bhav is always lying in our heart. But sometimes seeing anything that revives, that comes out. So bhakti is by the kind of Shri Gurudev is cultivated in our heart. It is installed in our heart. That is not a part of our instinct. That is not a material thing. Avirbhuve manovrittam. Vrjanti tasvarupam. And bhakti is not manovritti. Manovritti is a part of matter. And bhakti is transcendental. But bhakti becomes just like it is also a emotion. It is a material thing. We cannot define that this emotion is material and this is transcendental. We cannot define it. So we take that as so many emotions are in our heart, in the same way, bhakti is one of them. We take it, but that is not. So Brijanti Tatswaruktam. That means the bhakti, though it is transcendental, even then it seems that it is a material thing. Why? Swam Prakasha Rupati. Bhakti is Swam Prakash, self-manifesting. Swam Prakash, but Bhashyamana Prakashiva. It is seen as it is a Prakasha. Like Brahma, it is a Bhashyamana, it is realized. Normally, we say that in my heart, in heart, a yogi meditate Brahma. Wrong. Heart is very little and Brahma is so all-pervading. How the big thing can come into his heart? But his heart at that time, actually, his heart is melted. And then only Brahma is, the Upadhi is removed. And then only Brahma is manifested. In the same way, the bhakti that is transcendental, that transcendental bhakti becomes is experienced like a emotion. But it is not a emotion, but it is a part of Shri Radharani. So Bhashyamana Prakashiva, as a person experience things that I am meditating Brahma in my heart, in my transposition, in my samadhi. So it is a thing, Brahma is a thing of my thinking. It is Vishaya. I am doing the experience, but actually that is not. Actually, bhakti is transcendental and it is manifested seeing Sri Krishna Katha or the Vibhavanavad Samagri, and it is manifested and Bhashimana Prakashiman. As a yogi in Samadhi thinks that I am relishing the Brahma Sukha, in the same way, bhakti, he is relishing the Brahma Sukha, but actually his material surroundings was removed, the upadhi is removed, designation is removed, and then the bhakti is relished by him. So that is the very way. And at that time, sometimes rule and sometimes adhirud. In the rule, there is some prayas, our effort. But while the Triputi, Gyata, Gye and Gyan, this is called Triputi. Three dimensions of knowledge. The knowledge has three dimensions. Gyata, I am the knower. Sri Krishna, he is the subject. He is the subject. And by bhakti, I am knowing. So Gyata, Gye, Gyan. These three dimensions are there. While these three dimensions are centralized only in Gyan, that is called transposition. Gyata is removed. Who is knowing? This is not in transposition, in samadhi. The Gyata is removed. The Gye is removed. Only Gyan is found there. So in the same way, Adhirud Avastha is that here the removal is not actually found. The fully removal is not found. In Samadhi, only one removal is found. There is no, neither Brahma between Gyata and Gye. The curtain of Gyan is there. Drishta and Drishya. The darshan, curtain of darshan is there. Spectacular and spectaculated, whatever you say. Drishya and Drishta. So between that, the seeing is there. So, अरे क्या बंद कर दीजिए ढंग से. हाँ ठाकुर जी भोग में बट ढंग से लगा के नहीं. So between drishta and drishya, always the darshan is as a curtain. While the curtain of darshan is removed, then the spectacular becomes the scene. Drishta ही दृश्य हो जाएगा. Between Gyata and Gye, the Gyan is as a curtain. While Gyan is removed, then the Gyata will become Brahma. Am Brahmasmi. That is. So here, Adhirud Mahavar is something like that, where the thing that is experienced, that is so tense that a person only thinks the experience and he forget that what I am bearing, where I am standing, where I have to go. Shri Radharani forgets it. So that is Adhirud Darshan. And Shri Krishna has also some things, he has so many things to do. that she also forget. You and me, and let me see you, boss. No, and I will not let you go from my side. So that is the Adhirudha Dasha. So in Samadhi, the spectator, spectator, drishta, is removed. But here the drishta is there, but he is not actually realizing him. So that is there, the Dvait is there, because Dvait, the Anubhav will not become. Even then, that is not very much seen, very much experienced. And that is behind the curtain, always. So that is Adhirudha Dasha. So the Adhirudha Dasha, rule and Adhirudha. Rule means Aruksho Mandorogam, Karma Karan Muchate, Yoga Rule Taseva, Shamak Karan Muchate, whatever is described there. So he is aruling, he is climbing, and now while he is climbing, he is then he is free from the efforts. Now the climbing efforts are left. So in the same way, the Gyata, Gay and Gyan, the process of Gyan is we are doing it. This is removed, and we are relishing. The relishment is there only. The Anubhav is there. So that is the Adhirudha Dasha. So very beautifully he has described so many subtleties of this portion. We are very grateful to him that he beautifully described the Anganaga Swasamvedhi Dasham Prapya Prakashita or Avel Bhumi Manubhuttam. That means bhakti is not a natural or material thing. That is not, that is a transcendental. And so bhakti is not found in everyone who is very much beneficent person and very blessed person. Only they have bhakti. So bhakti is very much rare. Jnanta sulbha mukti bhukti yogadi punyata same sadhan sastrai har bhakti sudurlava. Har bhakti is very much rare. But avirbhuya, that is avirbhav, that is not natural. And that is not manovritti, but it seems that it is a sthai bhav. It is a manovritti. So either it is bhav, then it is a manovritti. It becomes manovritti. So it seems that it is manovritti. As in transposition, in samadhi, in meditation, in transposition, the Brahma is taken as it is a subject, and I have meditated Brahma. Brahma becomes a subject, a limited subject, while Brahma is all pervading. Even then, in my mind, I have meditated Brahma, and Brahma is experienced by my mind. So a yogi thinks it, but it is not. Actually, he is not Brahma. He is not thinking a Brahma like a other thing, like a food or like a paper. He is not thinking it. Brahma is not a matter. So, Swayam Prakash, Bhashamana Prakash. Prakash means Brahma. As Brahma is manifested in the transposition, in the same way, the transcendental bhakti is also manifested in his mind. Anyhow, so that is very profound and very interesting. I was very much impressed by listening all these things, and very much grateful that he has expressed so so beautiful things. Anyhow, 314 314 Shri Vrinda was describing how the coronation of Sri Radharani was performed. And Shri Krishna was saying 314 that at that time I was seeing, gazing the Shobha of Sri Radharani, but because there was so many other persons was there, so I also felt a little shame, and I bowed my head, and while I was bending my head, then in my costume I can see the reflection of Shri Radharani continuously. It is also described in a way that sometimes Shri Radharani is sitting and Shri Krishna is coming from backside, and Shri Radharani is bearing a mirror in his thumb, and she was seeing, and other persons was seeing that she is seeing his face, but actually she was seeing the face of Shri Krishna, and in this way Shri Radharani continuously, without hesitation, she saw the beauty of Shri Krishna. कंज नयन मंजन किए बैठी ब्योरत बार कचे अंगुरन बिच दीठ दे निरखत नंद कुमार. Sometimes she is Shri Radharani is just having combing his hairs, and between his two fingers as well as his hairs, between them she is gazing Shri Krishna without any agitation. So without agitation. So Kanjanayan Manjan Kiye. Kanjanayan means Shri Radhika, who has the eyes like lotus. Kanj means Kamal, Kamal Nayan, Kanjanayan. Manjan Kiye, having taken bath. Manjan Kiye, Baithi Byorat bath. He is Byorat bath, he is combing his kesh, bath. Or Kache means bal, and only means fingers, which is there between the gap of hairs and the fingers. Nirkata Nanda Kumar. She is saying Nanda Kumar. So in the same way, Shri Krishna is bending his head, and even then in the reflection is on his Kaustumani, and he is seeing Shri Radhika. Suval Apavarya. Arjun Sakil Mahavishek Stali Umrav. Ye Umrav wo Mahavishek Stali. Madhumangal Apavarya. Previously, Sarvam Smaritam. Yes. Smaranam Asmi. Na Satyam Pragalbite Gopika. Everything is right, and whatever Shri Vrindavana is describing, that is not wrong. And at that time, Shri Radhika, changing the subject, Shri Radhika says, Sakhi Vrindhe Ganyatam Ashtabhashika Kanankara. Now you do the assessment of the text from 8 years. Ashtabhashika Kara. Or the Kar for 8 years. For 8 years you count it. And Vrindas Hasmitam. Vrindavaneshwari, Vrindeshaha Pratiswakir Abala Dhavla Palayam Asankhanam Gosankhanam Anantev Kanankaraha. How I can count them? Because Vrindeshaha Pratiswaki, this gop has so many groups of cows. Vrindesha means groups and groups. they have. Pratyushik means every group have so many groups, numberless groups. Dhabala means cow. Palayatam, asankhyanam, gosankyanam. So the gosankhya is asankhya, infinite. So ananta eva kanankaraha. So kanankara is also, the kar is also anant. Tatkim ganna prayasena. So we cannot do the effort of counting. Lalita says, Vishakha, Vrindavan Chakravartini Avedaiti. Grana Hateno, Prathamam, Patum Manyasyo, Batuno Malmandanam. Vishakha, Shri Radhika is Vrindavan Chakravartini. Shri Radhika Agyapayati is ordering the Grahan Hateno by power, by force, take first of all the all abhushan, Manimandan, jewels, what is which are bearing. Madhumangal is bearing them. So first of all, you take all the abhushan of Madhumangal. So you take all the abhushan, all the jewels, whatever Madhumangal is bearing, first of all, take them.
Is register accountants.
Yes. So take the all abhushan of Madhumangal. And Madhumangal says, Apavaryo, कि भोपरी वयस्य निश्चितम अत्र समाधानम दुष्कर्म. Yes, gopis are saying, and its samadhan is dushkar. Its adjustment is samadhan means solution. And the controversy, the assessment, and then the adjustment. That is dushkar. The compounding the whole text. The compounding is very much difficult. So samadhanam dushkara. So to compound this text is very much difficult. Tasma antam eva asmakam sharanam. So let me flee from here. So let me flee from here.
Solution.
Yes, that is the only solution. And Shri Krishna is saying that how Gosthasva Lalta Lagud Tadanam Ashankya Ma Sankuch. Oh Gosthasva, this is a abuse. Gosthasva means while you are in your home, then you abuse and fight everyone. And while you come out of your gate, then you become very much pity. So that is called Gosthasva. Nij ghar mein bada. So Tuj Devata Gharai ke Badhe. This is we say that Devata and Brahman always is very much full of boasting in his house, but in field they never fight. So, oh Brahman, you are very much covered, and you are bred in your house. So, oh Gosthasva, Lalta Labud Tadanam Ashankyo. Lalta will beat you with the stick. You is thinking it. So, Ma Sankucha, don't become Sankoch, don't be afraid. Parastat among Sudarshanosmi. Don't bother, because I am Sudarshan. Lalita has only a stick, but I have the Sudarshan wheel. Sudarshan chakra. So Sudarshan knows me. Sudarshan has two meanings. Sudarshan is I am very much smart and beautiful. And also I have the Sudarshan chakra in my hand. The mark of Sudarshan in my hand. So I am Sudarshan knows me. Shri Radha Krishnam Apangen Dara Alingyo. Shri Krishna Radhika is embracing by his side Shri Krishna. This is also the embracement is not embracing is not by body, by hands only, but it can be by eyes also. So Apangen Dharam Alingyo. Little embracing is hugging. Shri Radhika is giving to Shri Krishna. Suval Alam Dilajjatin Kanan Karupniyata. Don't be ashamed. Just give us Kanan Kar. The text. Shri Radhika is saying that
To Subal.
yes. So Suval Alam Dilajjateno Kanan Karu Upniyatam. Shri Krishna, Shri Radhika is saying, and Shri Krishna is saying, Ekasyatvam Prahorasi Satu Dwadashanam Bananam Ekat Chalpam Nikhil Jakti Vartanam Ev Deva Samanta Shri Twamiti Samaha Manmasas Chakravarti Pathyam Radheshwar Hatam Ma Pratha Tasya Shunke Ekasyatvam Prahurasi. Yes, we accept that he was also crowded. Even then, Ekasyatvam Prabhuasi, you are the master of one Vrindavana. Satu Dwarshanam Bananam, but Sri Kamadev, our Chakravarti, he is the master of Dwadash Ban, 12 Ban. And not Etat Chalpam, not of 12 Ban only. Nikhil Jagati Vartanam Eva Devaha. He is the controller of whole universe. Nikhil Jagati. So not of only 12 Ban, but a whole universe. Samata Shri Tvam Iti. So you should consider, you should remember that you are only a Samant of Kamdev. That means Sri Krishna imposed that I am the emperor and you are only a governor. You are not the fully. You are governing on behalf of me. So you are not the whole soul governor, a whole soul controller. So Samanta Shri Tvam Iti. You are only a representative of Kamdev. So Mahan Manmathas Chakravarti. Shri Krishna is not naming his name. He is saying about Kamdev, but at last he will say that Kamdev and me are not different. We are both one. So you are my governor only. You are not the king. So Mahan Manmathas Chakravarti. Shri Kamdev is Mahan Chakravarti. Pathyam Radheshwar. O Radhe, you remember this, correct? Hatam Amum Ma Pratha. And you should not be rigid in this shulk. At the counting of this shulk, you should not be very much rigid. So Hatam Makuru, don't be rigid.
Don't be stubborn.
Stubborn. Stubborn. Stubborn होने की जरूरत नहीं. So Vishaka says, Suval evam bhavati tathapi tava udyan chakravartino nideshvartana tava ghattadhyaksheno Vrindavan chakravartanyam asmat priya saksha katham mochitavyam. Vishakha is saying that Bhosuval tathapi tasya udyan chakravartino nideshvartina. Shri Krishna is only a very little worker of Udyan Chakravarti or that emperor, and the post, the designation of mine is much more higher. So you are only a Sipahi, and I am the governor. So my position, my post is much more higher. So Suval Bhavat Tathapi Tasya Udyan Chakravartino Nideshvartina Tab Ghatta Daksheno. You are the in charge of only one octroi post, a little octroi post. You are in charge of that. And Shri Radharani is the in charge of whole Vrindavan. So Vrindavan, the octroi post is a part of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is not a part of octroi post. So Vrindavan Chakravartina Asmat Priyat Sakhya Katham Mochaitabhya. So how you will how you will Asmat Priya Sakhya Katham Mochaitabhya. The text that is Radhika is going to take, you cannot leave yourself. You can make yourself free from the text, because the post of Shri Radhika is no doubt very, very greater than a post of a little octroi post in charge. So our text cannot be compound, but you have to pay in this way. You have to pay our tax. So Asmat Pri Sakshaha Karaha Katham Mochaitabhya. The kar tax of our Prisaki, you cannot get free from it. So Sabiswiyam, having the end. Vishakhe Nishitam Khatwa Rudhasi. Don't be so much arrogant. Khatwa Rudha, this is a proverb. That means if a person is sitting on a coat and he thinks that I am sitting on the throne. So you are Khatta Rudhasi. If you got only a chowki, so you should consider that you are chowkidar, and the person who is sitting on the jameen, they are jamidar. So the person who is sitting on chowki is chowkidar, and the person who is sitting on the earth, he is jamidar. So Khatwa Gurasi, you are thinking yourself as if you are sitting on a coat or a bed, you are thinking that I am sitting on the throne. So you should not think like that. So Khatwa Gur Shabdaha Jugupsit Garva Vachaka. Nandini Garva issues. That means false arrogancy is seen by this one. So Vishakhe Nishitam Khatwa Gurasi, don't be so much arrogant. Sumur Durmad Gundatvam. You are Gundata, you are just Gunitman Chakarare bewildered. You are bewildered by Mool Durmat, by the arrogance. So you are confused in arrogance. Tvam Tattvam Ajanti Pralavasi. And you are not saying the matter of fact. Without saying the matter of fact, you are only Pralavasi. You are saying as you like. Vishakha, Sotprasam, having some idea in her mind, Sasmitam, she says that Kimatra Tattvam Kathaya, what is the matter of fact to describe? Soul says that Vistarena Sanchipta Saram Suru, Kim Vistarena, need not to extend very much. I am in nutshell saying the sangsara. In nutshell, I am saying, so you should listen it. Yakhalu Maha Manmas Chakravarti Sa Ev Nishchitam Priya Vaisya Rupena Vartamanu Jyayatam, which is Manmas Chakravarti. We are describing to whom the Manmas Chakravarti. He is actually our friend Shri Krishna.
Yeah.
So there is no difference between Manmat Chakravarti and Shri Krishna. So Sayev Nishchitam Priya Vaisya Rupena Vartamanu. Shri Manmat Chakravarti is Shri Krishna. So he is the Madan Mohan, Manmat Chakravarti. Dayo kil Paramarthataha Bhinnata Nasti. They are not different actually. So both are not actually different. Whatever who is Manmat Chakravarti, the same is Shri Krishna and Manmat Chakravarti. Both are one. Jai. अरे भोग बंद उठा सारा
हो गया, उठ गया।
अच्छा बच्चा चलो तो फिर जय वो खाली के बाद भर गई थी
Manmat Chakravarti is
yes Manmat Chakravarti is listening. He's listening. Manmat Chakravarti is listening. सोलह साबित हाँ ये तो परम अभिन्नता अस्ति अर्जुन से विशाखे इदानीम अल्पम एतत् तत्श्रु idam ape alpam. This is also a not the full description. It is also a small description. Sakil ashrutachar sadharma sambohan madhuri bharanavyaha sarvo paribrajmana priya vaisasya sakal gopakul patitven govindabhisheko savaha tasya va garvam nakhalu kharvayati. So Sakil, that means our friend was our friend Shri Krishna. He was also crowned by as Gokul Patitveno, as Gokul Pati. Ashrutachara Sadharmaha. And the beauty and the greatness, glories of that crownation was so great that Atulni, it is unparalleled. Sambhavan Madhuri Bharaha, and it is very much attractive. Sarvo Paribrajmanaha, Priya Vaisya. Our Priya Vaisya, at that time, he was crowned. Sarvo Pari, the fully. Sakal Gokul Patitvena, and he was crowned as Sakal Gokul Pati, as the master of whole Gokul. And Govinda Abhishek Mahotsava, and his Govinda Abhishek Mahotsav was also done, was performed. Kasyava Garvam Nakhalu Kharvaiti. So that function, that event of Govinda Abhishek is so great that it minimized the proud of every person. Kasi garvam na kharve. So it minimized the it lessened the proud of every person. Madhumangala Solasa. Madhumangala immediately. He was just so last with ullas. He speaks. He interrupts. So Lalte Swishtu Bhanati Arjuna. Arjun is saying correct. Upanishad bhi Nava Banam Idam Krishna Banam Varnyate. In Gopal Tapni Upanishad, this one is Vrindavan is named as Krishna Ban. So that means this Vrindavan is the Ban of Sri Krishna. In Gopal Upanishad, Gopal Tapni Upanishad, the name of Vrindavan is called Krishna Ban. So it shows, it proves that Sri Krishna is the king of Vrindavan, not your Radhika. And Mahamaya says, Muncha Balatvam, oh, be mute. Muncha Balatvam, don't be childish. Muncha Balatvam. Asmat Pri Vasyaiva Kanta Radhishata. Our Radhika is the Kantar Adhishata, is the mistress of this Vrindavan. Our Sakhi is the mistress of this Vrindavan. Kanta Radhishata. Shri Radhika is Kanta. And Madhmangal is, Madhmul take it that Shri Radhika is Kanta of Shri Krishna. So that means all property of Shri Radhika is of Shri Krishna. Madhmul will take it in this way. But Shri Vrinda, she's saying, Vishakha is saying that Shri Radhika is Kanta, means of this forest, Adhishta. She is the mistress of this Vrindavan. अतः करहारी भी युष्मा भी राजकुल पुरुषा खंड कुंडल का भी संबंध्या मही. मधुमंगल सिंह अतः करहारी भी युष्मा भी, you have to pay the kar because Shri Radhika is the Kanta of Shri Krishna and all assets of Shri Radhika is automatically goes to Shri Krishna. So, Karahari bhi Yushma bhi, you are to pay the tax here. Rajkul Purusha, and we are the Rajkul Purush. So, first of all, you should respect us by giving Khand Kundalika bhi Jalebi. So, you should offer us Jalebi. संबंध्य में सखे सुवल श्यामल मंडे का मंडे यत सांप्रतम शुल्क दास का प्रवेशनिया. जस्ट प्रिपेयर द श्यामल मंडप का, द वेरी ग्रीन फुल ऑफ ग्रीनरी, द मंडप का, दैट मंडप, दैट हट should be prepared. So that green hut should be prepared. Shamal Mandika Mandaya. You prepare the green hut. Jagat Sampratam, where the Shulka Dasaka Praveshniya, where we will detain these Shulka Dasaka and they will be kept under control, under lock and key. We will detain them. So they will be detained. And Radhika said, Hant Taskara Chakravarti Samant. You are the Samant, you are the minister of Taskar Chakravarti, the king of all thieves. So Taskar Chakravarti Samant, O secretary of Taskar Chakravarti, the king of thieves.
Mafia.
Mafia. Oh, Suval. Mama Priya Sakhi, Sakhya, Shamlaya Bhratbedi. to whom you are saying that it is the Shamal Vedika, that is the place of our Sakhi, Shri Shamla. So that is the hut of our Sakhi Shamla, and you are enclosing it with you. So that is wrong. So that encroachment should not be done. You are doing the encroachment. So our Shamlayaha Bhritavedi idam Kasmat Yushmabhi Ghat Ghatten Dushyante. And here, that is the Bhritavedi. She performed the birth and sadhan here. And you are making it brisht with collecting this tax. So, you are unpurifying it.
Polluting it.
Polluting it. So the pollution you are making, polluting it. So kasmat ishmavi ghatte ghatte no. By this ghatte ghatte, by collecting tax, dushyate, you are polluting it. Pollution is being done. So Shri Krishna says that Bakram Chakravartini, O Shri Radhike, you are Bakram Chakravartini. You are the Chakravartini, you are the king among all Bakra, all crooked persons, morbid persons, all crooked persons, crooked persons, not crooked. Crooked, yes. Thank you. So, Bakram Chakravarti, crooked persons. Kirtan Chakra, Radha Chakrasya, Chankarmanaya. You cannot surpass. The Chakra means the army of Sri Radhika. We are the army of Sri Radhika, and Kirtan Radha Chakrasya. No, Chakram Chakravarti, O Sri Radhika. You are very much crooked. King of all cricket, and Kritam Radha Chakrasya Shankarmaya. You do not proceed your Sena to control this place, our place. You should not. Radha Chakrasya means the Sena of Shri Radhika. Shankarmaya, when you should not proceed, order your Sena to control, take it over. Yadesh Tarsa Durlaksham. Because it is very much, it will be very much difficult. You cannot conquer this place. Mano Vibhindatam. So, you should Manopavindhatam, you should give up this idea to take this hut in your control. Manopavindhatam. Dhanyanam mudhanyeno mahamanmathena ajishtito maha ghat rangaha. Because this place, this hut is a place of Dhanyanam mudhanyeno, who is very, very much great. Manmath Chakravartina Adhishtataha, and who is controlled by Manmath Chakravarti, Kamdev Chakravarti, and I am Mahaghatta Rangaha, and Shri Manmath Chakravarti has established this octroi post here. So you cannot control this hut. You cannot take over this hut in your control. And Shri Radhika is saying that Bhaktastradha Madhav Madhye Chante Ch Vanshika Rasiko Kalkrit Jagata Pralayo Vakreshwar Eva Devosi Bhaktastradha Madhav. O Shri Krishna Vanshika Rasiko. You are Rasik of Vanshi. You are lover of Vanshi. You are Rasik of Vanshi. So, O Vanshika Rasiko, Bhakta Studha, you are crooked in three places. From neck, from waist, and from feet. So Bhaktas Nilhatam Adav. Adav Madhya Ante. Adav means on neck, Madhya means on waist, and Ante means in feet. You are crooked three times, three places. Kalakrit Jagati Pralayaha. The Banshika Rasik. You are the Rasik of Banshi. And this Banshi is have the very bad fame, bad name all over the world. Because Kalakrit, by its sound, this Banshi, Jagati Pralayaha, it makes the pralaya of whole Jagat. So Banshi is having the very defame, bad name. Bakreshwar eva devosi. O Dev, you are Bakreshwar. You are crooked in three times. You are moped in three places. And Shri Krishna immediately answers, Vachi kache bhuvi drishtam smite prayaye avugunthe cha. Tvam ityashtasu vakram ashtavakrayitam vande. Vachi, you are crooked at 8 places. As at that time, Prema Prayojan Prabhu had described it, all 8 described. So Vachi, your speaking is always full of crookedness, full of crookedness. So Vachi, Kache, your culls are also crooked. Here, culls. Bhuvi, your eyebrow are also crookedness, full of crookedness. And drishti, your sight is also full of crookedness. And smite, your smiling is also full of crookedness. And priyale, your going, that is also full of crookedness. And avgunt, your wheel is also ghungat, wheel is also, and hridicha, and your heart is also full of crookedness. Bamta. Tvam iti ashtasu vakra. In this way, you are Ashtavakra Rishi. You are Ashtasvakra. You are crooked in 8 times. If Ashtavakra itam bande, I am saluting you as you are Ashtavakra. And Chimpaklata is saying that Alaksha Bakramapitvam Laksha Bakramasi. Alaksha Bakramapitvam. Though the Bakrama is not seen here, but you are Laksha Bakrama. You have the lakhs of Bakrama, crookedness in your, not only 3, but you have the lakhs Bakrama in you, the crookedness in you. So Laksha Bakramasi. Crookedness or crookedness? Crookedness. Acha. Crookedness. The pronunciation is different. Crookedness. So that is Laksha Bakramasi. So you are having the Laksha, lakhs and lakhs Bakrama. Crookedness in you. Tat Atmana Samana Dharmano Janena Saha Kriya. So Atmana, you should play with the person who are very much having the crookedness. So you go with them. We are the simple girls and you should not do your crookedness here. Show your crookedness here. Vishuddha Dharmanam Asmakam Ito Yukta Gati. We are now proceeding as we are the Vishuddha Dharmi. We are very much simple persons. We are very pure and simple persons. So Vishuddha Dharmanam, pure Dharma. So we are Yukta Gati. We are proceeding from this place. And then Shri Champaklata says, Shri Krishna says, Punyavati Mahadanam Vina Gatir Dulhava. Unless you pay our tax here, you cannot proceed even a pace. Gatir Dulhava. Shri Champaklata says that Sajjananam Sarva Pathinam Gatir Prasiddha. It is very much normal, it is very much famous that a sajjan can go in any way. This is a universal truth. So here he is showing this universal truth. The sajjananam sarva panthanam gati prasiddha. A sajjan can go at any way, any path. Chitra says that Purushottam Punya Shlokosi Tad Dharma Karma Pravritti Nam Asmakam Kur Mokshanam. O Purushottam, you are famous as Purushottam. Dharma Karma Pravritta Nam Asmakam. You know that we are now performing a very auspicious and pious work. So, Kur Mokshanam. Now, you make us relieved. So, Kurmoksham, that means let us go. Because you are Punya Shlok. That means Shlok means Yash. Punya Shlokam means whose Yash is very much pious. So, you are pious, you are having the Punya Shlok. So, Tad Dharma Karma Prastanam. We are now involved in Dharma Karma. So you should be helpful to us. You should give a helping hand to us to perform our duties. And Kur Mokshanam. Now you relieve us, please. Shri Krishna says, Chitre Vichitreyam Asya Chakravartina Prakriya. This Chakravarti, Kamdev Chakravarti, has a special mood, special attitude that Yatra Dharmena Durlabho Moksha. Here, by Dharma, moksha cannot be achieved. Here, Adharma is Dharma and Dharma is Adharma in this Prema Prayojan. So, here, Dharmena Durlabho Moksha. By Dharma, moksha cannot be achieved. Kintu Kama Prayogeno Dhruvam Labhyate. By Kam, the moksha is found. Because, and Nanimukhi says that Shastra Karana Muninam Apisambhadani Esha Riti. This Riti is very much Asambhadani, very much pro to Shastra. It is matching to Shastra. It is pro to Shastra. Because in Shastra, Kamasya Anantaram Moksham Patati. Dharma Artha Kam Moksha. So after Kam, Moksha is right in Shastra. And Dharma is Dharmikal Durta Pratham Kaksha. And Dharma is left very far in the first step, in the beginning. So Dharma Artha Kam Moksha. Here, after Kam, the continuation is Moksha. In continuation is Moksha. While Dharma is very, very previous. So, Dharma kil durta pratham kaksha rohane. So, Dharma is left in pratham kaksha roha. Shri Krishna Smitva. Hant Shukla Kriti. Priti eva nathasya tavadya gati. Unless you will show your love and respect to your master, then without that you cannot go. So tat anande mahadamindram enam avishta sevaya. So now you proceed to this Shamlal Putti, this hut, and you should please the Kam Mahipati, Kam by Avishta Sevya. Whatever he required, you should serve him. And Lalta is saying, Bhunana tapo bharena eva ghatti pal dasi tvam siddhati. Oh, this is a very much fortune of us. This will be a very great fortune of to our Radhika, because she has performed so many tap austerity in previous life, resulting it she is getting this opportunity to serve ghatti pal like you. Dasitam siddhi. Etasya punar mama sakshat durlabam. This is my Sakhi has not performed so auspicious work. Ataha atapaswini esha. She is not atapaswini. She has not performed so much austerities. She is atapaswini. And one thing is very important here. Tapaswi means bechari, the pity. In Sanskrit, in Hindi, now we use tapasvi shabd as a great prashasa praise. But in Sanskrit, tapasvi shabd is used in chastising, in nanda. Chastising. In chastising. So that is used in chastising, in nanda. And the tapasvi is told the person who is very pity and have no resources. He is called tapasvi bechara, as we use bechara. So now the thing is changed. So in this way, the thing is changed, and sometimes the meaning of so many words, time to time, they have changed. Yes, they become opposite. As Sahasi, as the Lunchit is a great sampradaya, school of Bauddha Dharma, where the hair was just plucked, and those persons are called Lunchit. But while the Vaishnava Dharma came and Bauddha Dharma was chastised, then Lucha, the meaning was quite changed. So this is how the meaning is changed of subject. In the same way, Tapaswini Shabda was very much full of chastising in Sanskrit, but in Hindi it got the determining Sahasi Shabda was there, was full of chastising. But here the Tapasvi Shabda is a great, and it is used in prasana. So this is the chronological order of words, where by time to time the meaning of the words are changed. Bolo Shivrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai, Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai, Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai, Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai, Nitai Gaur Hari Hari Jai Shri